Yo, what's good with y'all? In today's video, I got new series or potential new series, I should say. How to make grow a garden. I believe that's what the game is called. It's a very popular game and stuff. Very simple concept. That's like it had like a million people playing it today, which is crazy. But yeah. So I am going to show you guys how to make it. This is part one. I'm just gonna show you guys how to do the like setting up the garden and everything, and then setting up like just like a little leader stats and stuff. Like most of the coding and everything will be like in part two and part three because it probably will take long enough just to design the stuff. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get straight into the video. As you guys already know, if you want part two, part three, and more parts, just show the video, love and support. Let me know you want part two, and I got y'all. All right, so first things first, of course, let's go ahead and knock out the UI, then we'll get to making all the stuff. I do want to clarify something. I'm not a UI designer, nor am I a map builder or whatever. So I'm just gonna make this stuff to the best of my ability and stuff from like the pictures I took from the game and everything. You guys, it's up to y'all to make it look nice and everything. But yeah. So let's head on over to Starter GUI. We're gonna insert a screen GUI, right? You're going to want to rename the screen GUI to core GUI. Bam. You're going to want to disable reset on spawn. Then you're going to want to insert a frame. Rename this frame to teleport frame. Then you're going to want to set the size to like, I want to say like 400 by 100. So something like that. Then just drag it to like the middle of the screen. Set the background transparency to 1. You're then going to insert a text button into the frame, right? You can rename this text button to seeds text button. As you probably guessed, these are the text buttons at the top of the screen, where if you click them, it'll teleport you to either right in front of the seeds shop, the sell, we can sell your plants or your garden. So first we have the seeds text button. I'm gonna try to match the colors. So bold, rich text, scale text, change the text to seeds. I believe it's actually all caps, I think. So we'll say seeds. Text color will be white. Text stroke color will be black. Text stroke transparency will be set to 0. Background color will be a nice, I think this is like a navy blue kind of thing. So we'll just do like something, we'll do something like that, right? So seeds, right? Then we're going to go ahead and let me move this a little to the left. Then I'm going to duplicate this. So while having it selected, Control plus D, or just duplicate it in the top left. Then we're just going to drag this over. We need to leave a lot of space in the middle and stuff, right? So let me drag it down actually a little bit. So like, yeah, like right there. So then for the second button, right, you're going to want to rename this button to cell text button, right? Change the background color to red, right? And then just change the text to the word cell, right? Then you can just duplicate this, Control D, or duplicate in the top left. Now the garden button is a little bit bigger than the other buttons, so let's make it a little bit bigger. So we're gonna do like 250. That might be too wide. Maybe 225. So we're gonna do like 225, and then we're going to expand this by like 75. Yeah, like that. Make that 75, then put it in the middle. Gonna give it a brown background color, so something like um I need to get brown. So let me figure out. Hold on, let me get brown real quick because none of those colors look brown. This is brown. What is this? 86, 66, 54. Okay. 86, 60. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think I forgot that. 86, 66, 54. Oh, close enough. Okay, there we go. So we have brown, so you could just type that in to get brown. Border size would be 2. Border colors, green, bright green. Rename the text button to garden. That's graded, okay. Garden text button. Then we will go to the text, change it to garden. Oh, honestly, I don't know if garden is in all caps or not. I honestly don't know. I mean, it's up to y'all. Y'all can do listen, the only thing that's important is that you do the names right and stuff. You guys can change fonts, colors, sizing. That's completely up to y'all. All that matters is that, like, you name everything just like I did. But yeah, so we're done with the UI. Let's go ahead and let's get to making the garden, right? So so the way this is going to work, right? The way our system is going to work, right? There's like, I don't know how many gardens there are in an actual server. I think it's like 6 or whatever. But yeah, so you have a garden and whatnot, right? So all we got to do is make one, and then we can just duplicate it, right? So first things first, let's go ahead and make a fence. So let's do, oh, did not mean to open the toolbox. So let's do it like this. We're going to insert a block, right? I'm going to need y'all to stick with me on this, or I mean, you can really do your own thing. It doesn't really matter. Well, no, it kind of does. Yeah, just do what I do. So let's go ahead, let's get our parts. This is going to be our like bottom support, I guess, kind of thing. So I'm gonna scale this out a little. Let me do it like this actually, so it's in front of the spawn. So scale this out a little bit, right? This is gonna be like our support kind of thing. I'm going to make the color brown, change the material to wood, because this is our fence. Then I'm going to duplicate this, so Control D while having it selected. Then I'm going to move it over. This is going to be our entrance, so we need to leave a little space, a little gap in between it. Then I'm going to duplicate this again, so Control D while having it selected, Control plus D. Then drag it above, Control D again, and then drag it over here, right? Now what we need to do is we need to have supports and stuff to hold the fence up and stuff, right? So let's insert another part, then just do the same thing, change color to brown, material to wood, then we will scale it and stuff. Like I said, I'm just doing this just to match it to the best of my ability and stuff. It's not gonna look, it ain't gonna look the best, but you know. So, oh, did not mean to do that. So I'm gonna scale it so it's the same size, and then we're gonna do it like that, then like that. Okay. Perfect, right? And then now we're gonna do a lot of duplicating. I'm just letting y'all know. Saves yourself a lot of time. So I'm just gonna duplicate, then move this over. Instead, I'm just gonna eyeball the spacing. Duplicate, move, duplicate. Like this is literally going to be like probably 1/3 of the video. Not gonna lie to y'all. So then just duplicate, move, duplicate, and then move, and then move this down a little bit so it's like in between. Okay, there we go. Right, and then we can just wait. Damn, I feel kind of stupid. Why didn't I just? Yeah, I just really kind of stupid actually. So delete these two. I just really I'm kind of dumb. It would have actually made more sense for me to just make this. Then we can just select all of that and then just duplicate this and then just move it over. I feel kind of stupid. Okay, there we go. Then this will be our entrance. There we go. Okay. So then what we're gonna do is we're going to need to duplicate this, but so let's do it like, or actually let's group this up first, right? So select everything we just did, so select all of it. You don't even need to name the parts. You can name the parts. I mean, in actual game I would hope you would name the parts, but it's up to y'all. So select everything. You're going to press Control plus G to group everything together, or you could right click and just press group. So you're going to want to rename this to front fence. We need to keep track of everything. So front fence. So we've grouped it together. So now it all acts as like one kind of entity or like one part and stuff. I mean, you can open it up and modify the individual parts, but yeah. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go find the one of either the bottom or the top pieces. So just keep clicking until you find there we go. Then you're going to duplicate this, drag this over. I want to rotate this, so I'm just going to go down to the orientation. Let's try the X. Okay, X doesn't work. Apparently X and Y are swapped, so let's change Y. 90 degrees, there we go. Okay, then so we rotate it, then we're just going to move this. Okay, did I mean to do that? Ah, dang, now I have to guess what, oh, there we go. Okay, so once you duplicate the part, by the way, find the part. It should be the last part, by the way. It should be like all the way at the bottom. And then just drag it into the workspace so it's out, so it's no longer grouped inside a front fence. So then we're going to attach it right here. Again, I know it's not exact, as you can clearly tell, but you know, close enough. That's all that really matters. We're not going for accuracy. Okay, yeah, that's gonna be a little off, I'm not gonna lie. Good enough, good enough. Okay. So we're gonna do that. We definitely need this to be much wider, so scale is down like that. I think that's good and stuff. Again, up to y'all for how wide y'all want y'all fencing to be. It's up to y'all. Okay, so once we're done with that, we're going to duplicate this part, drag it down to be our our base support for it, right? Then I'm going to go back to the front fence, find any one of the supports. It can be literally any one. You're going to duplicate this, then take that duplicated part, drag it into the workspace, close out the front fence, and then you're just going to move that duplicated piece over here and then just start using it. Okay, so it is flipped the wrong way. So let me go to orientation and flip it. So it's okay. That didn't fix that. Which direction? Okay, not that direction. There we go. Okay, so same as what we did before. So then we're gonna move this like this. Then we're just gonna drag it right there. I could scale it so that it fits. Yeah, I could scale it so that it fits type thing, right? Then duplicate this, space it out, duplicate, bam, duplicate, or that might be a little too far out. Duplicate. This is most of what the video is going to be comprised of, not going to lie to y'all. Duplicate. But again, it gets easier once we finish. Like once you finish one side, you can just duplicate the entire thing and then just move it over to the other side and stuff. This is exactly why I wanted part one to just mostly be setting up the actual guard, and then like setting up the shop and what's the other thing? The shop and the cell systems and all the scripting and everything in like part 2 and 3. Okay, and then let's drag this at the end. There we okay there. Whoa. I did not know you could do that. That's cool. Okay. So we have finished the right side of the fence. So we're gonna look at this from like the front view. So like from the entrance, you're gonna look at it like that. So this is the front, that's the right. So we're gonna go over here. You're gonna select everything, right? Select everything. Make sure you deselect obviously the front fence and stuff. And then if you make sure you have all the parts selected, so you can just hold Control on your keyboard and then just left click to select any parts that weren't already selected. So then Control G to group it again. This will be our right fence, right? Oh, I forgot to actually say something. Make sure you anchor all of the parts, because if you don't anchor the parts, here's what's gonna happen. It's gonna, oh, well, hold on, let me demonstrate for you guys real quick. If you don't anchor the parts, yeah, that's gonna happen. It's not really gonna be a fence. So all you're gonna do is right click on each fence, click select children, scroll down, anchor. Do that again with the front fence, and then we should be good after this. Then anchor. So now when we duplicate, the parts will already be anchored. Okay. So then take the right fence, duplicate it, and then just move it over. All you gotta do is literally just move it over and line it up correctly. Let's see, and that's just like a little bit to the right. Okay, we are just going any which way. All right, there we go. And then just rename this to left fence. To left fence, right, right. I have an idea. I'm wondering if it would be easier to just take the front fence and then just like bring it back and then just like scale it to the back, or okay, let's take the front fence, duplicate this, then you're gonna move it all the way to the back, line it up with the right and left fence. Okay, once you've done that, rename it to back fence. Right, rename it to back fence. Then you're gonna go inside. You're gonna have to find the long parts. Okay, there we go. And then you're just gonna simply just scale them. Scale them across so that they connect. Then we gotta find one of the top pieces. There we go. Okay, I don't know what I just clicked. Okay, there we go. And then just scale this over. So just keep clicking parts until you find them. All right, and then now let's go into the actual supports. Right, let me find this support right here because I want to move this over actually. So let's find the support. So find any one of the supports and then just duplicate them. This is literally the last one. That's crazy. So then we space this out, duplicate, so that we can close off the fence. By the way, just a little tip: when you add something new, it's going to automatically be at the bottom. So as you can see, when I duplicate something, it's automatically at the bottom. There we go. Okay, and just like that, our fences are complete, and that only took 10 minutes. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we are 1/3 done with the garden now. Let's go ahead and take out, or no, because I haven't grouped everything yet. Okay, we'll do that at the end. So now let's get on to the seed beds, right? Which are the little, where you actually plant the seeds, which this is much more simple than that. So insert a part, right? Again, make sure you're doing it in a workspace and not inside of one of the groups. You can really scale this down to like the bottom, I think. And then I'm gonna make this a little wide. It's like that. These are gonna be our seed beds. Now this color was definitely brown. I remember that. This is it's supposed to be like a light brown. I mean, it's dark orange, but it's close enough. And then, no, not this part. Yeah, I don't think this part is supposed to be. I guess it would be grassy, kinda. I mean, wouldn't it technically be the material grass because we're growing grass? You know what? It actually, it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna set it back to plastic. If I can find plastic, I cannot find plastic. I'm unable to find. Okay, I found plastic. All right. So then let's go ahead and rename this to seed bed, right? So we know where the seed bed is. We're gonna need to name that for coding stuff for when we get to the scripting part and later parts. Insert another part. Then this is gonna be your like little barrier wall kind of thing, right? So simply scale it around it. Boom, right? Change the color. This is supposed to be like a dark brown. I know that. Um, Now this is supposed to be wood. I know that, right? Then duplicate this, move it over here, then duplicate it, move it to like the middle, then do the same thing we did, just rotate it. So find the orientation. That's the wrong one. Flip it, set Y to 90, and then just move it over here. There we go. Okay, not there we go. I need to balance this properly. And then obviously it's not going to fit, so you're going to have to scale it a little bit. Okay, there we go. Then duplicate this, move it over here, and just like that, we have almost successfully completed our seed bed. Okay, there we go. All right, so seed bed, then you're going to make sure you grab all of the parts. Make sure you, of course, anchor them. Group them together by right-clicking, and you can press group as a model. Make sure you model, not folder. Then rename to seedbed, and then we're gonna keep them numbered. So seedbed 1 for this, right? Make sure you have the actual seedbed part though. Number to seedbed or name seedbed, right? Then, right, you can just drag this into like the corner. Then now we just duplicate. So Control D, get over, Control D, and then here's the thing: we can save even more time now, right? Because now what we get to do is highlights those three. If I can grab the third one, okay. Control D, drag it over, Control D, bam. Then now all I'm gonna do is just go through and then just assign each one its own individual number. I felt it was important to distinguish between each seedbed so that, I don't know. I just feel like when it comes time to like code everything, so as you guys can see, I'm just, incrementing by one stuff. So seedbed 1 to like, I think this is 9. So 6. So just name them. If you guys want to name them in order or anything, like, that could be 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3. Like, that's up to y'all and stuff. I'm just gonna go random and stuff. So seedbed 8 and lastly seedbed 9. Okay, we are 2/3 done with setting up the garden. All right. So now that we're done with that, right? By the way, you can have as many as you want. You don't have to have 9 seed beds. You can have more, you can have less. That's completely up to y'all and stuff, right? Completely up to y'all. Just again, naming is the important thing. Completely up to y'all. Okay, now for the last thing, the sign, which is the simplest part and stuff, right? So you're going to want to go ahead and click parts, or click the arrow, I should say, under part. You're going to want to insert a cylinder, right? You're going to want to scale this, make this a little skinnier, go up just a little bit. It's going to be like a little stub kind of thing, right? Make sure you change the color to brown, change the material to wood. We're going to make this a sign. This is going to be the sign where it's going to have whether or not, the garden is currently owned and the player's name on it. So insert a part, put it at the top, scale it so it looks nice. It fits. Bam, bam, and bam. So just have something like that. All right. Background color to brown, material to wood. That is snow. Okay. Wood. So now, you're gonna want to rename this part, like the actual sign, to actual sign. That'll be the name of it. So actual sign, because we're gonna name the group sign. So then you're gonna want to insert a surface GUI so that we can have the text label. So insert a surface GUI into the actual sign. Disable reset on spawn, rename the surface GUI to sign GUI, then insert a text label into sign GUI. You're going to notice that the text label will be on a random side and stuff. What you have to do is you have to go to sign GUI and you have to, okay, did not mean to do that. Sign GUI, you have to find face. That's the direction it's facing. You literally are going to like just go through them, like just go through each option until it ends up in the front. Because as you can see, it's the right side, yet it's the front, right? Because obviously this is the right side of the part. The part front is, I think, that way and stuff, right? Then rename this text label to sign text label. Then let's do some customization. Bold text, rich text, scale text. By default, it should say empty garden. Then text color should be white. Or text stroke color should be black. Text stroke transparency will be set to 0. Background transparency will be set to 1, and then we can just make the size of the text label like the size of the thingamajig. We could do like 400. Oh, that would be the wrong thing. 250? No. 270. Okay, 260. So 260 by like 150. Yeah, 260 by 150. There we go. Looks perfect. Okay. Then now we're going to take the part. So this is we can name this sign support, right? So you're going to take both of those parts, select them, anchor them, then Control G, Control plus G, I should say, group them together, name, and then you want to name this sign, right? And then let's just rotate it so it's, facing to the side. And then boom, okay, now we've successfully made a garden. Now let's select everything. So you can just grab everything, make sure everything's selected, then group all of that together, Control plus G. Then you're going to name this garden 1, right? Now all you would have to do now is just simply duplicate, move, right, and then just rotate. That's all you would have to do. It's just simply rotate, right? That's simple, and then yeah, there you go. Now you can just make as many gardens as you want. Okay. And then obviously you need to change the name to Garden 2, right? Keep incrementing. One last thing we need to add into them. So I should have probably did this before I duplicated it, but anyway. So you see Garden 1, right? Plus icon, you're gonna want to insert a string value. This string value is going to be referred to as owner, right? This is how we're gonna keep track of whether or not a garden is owned and if who owns the garden. So by default, the value should be set to none, right? And then make sure you duplicate this and you put this inside of the other garden, or like it needs to be inside of each garden you have, right? And make sure its value is set to none by default. Okay, just like that, we are done and stuff. As you can see, we're already 20 minutes. Now that I think about it, we're only 20 minutes in. I really could have, I could have included the NPC scripting and stuff for like selling and buying stuff. Well, it's fine. We'll just do that in part 2. Okay. So for the next thing we're gonna do, just a tad bit of scripting and stuff. It's really not much. So we're gonna make it so that a player has currency, and two, what's it called? Oh, make it so that they can claim that it'll automatically claim a garden upon the player joining. So let's go to server script service plus icon, insert a script. You're gonna want to rename the script to core script. Okay, I spelled that right. In parentheses, put server, because we will have a local script when we come back. So delete print hello world, you're going to do game.players.player added connect function, close parentheses, player, short for the player who joined. Now, what was the current shekels? That's what it's called, shekels. Okay, so we're going to first create a folder called leader stats so that we can display how much money the player has. So leader stats is equal to instance.new. It's going to be a folder, right? Then you're going to say leader stats name is equal to leader stats. You're going to parent leader stats to the player. Then you're going to create a shekels value. So shekels is how much money the player has. You can call it whatever you want. So it's equal to instance.new. This is okay. This is going to be a number value. Shekels.name is of course equal to shekels. And then now at first I was gonna put 0, but I'm pretty sure you can't. You need to be able to buy stuff. So you can set the default value to whatever you want. I'm just gonna say 100. Then .parent is equal to leader stats, right? And then now we need to make it so that when the player joins, they not only have their shekels, it also automatically assigns them to a garden. And it automatically assigns them to a garden and stuff, or an empty one, I should say. So we're going to use a for I loop. We're going to say for I comma v in pairs. You're going to say workspace get children enter. You're going to say if v find first child. This is why we needed the owner value. We're going to say if v find first child owner. So if it has the owner value, that means it is a garden, and we need to make sure that it's currently not owned. We do that by checking the current value to see if it's equal to none. We will say and v find first child owner dot value is equal to and then enter, right? Oh wait, actually not thinking, but we didn't need to do the whole v find first child because it's already, we could have just did v. You could just did v dot owner dot value, it's equal to none. So if that's the case, then we'll create a variable because this is now a garden, or well, it already was, but yeah, it's an available garden, I should say. Then I'm going to say garden dot owner dot value is equal to player dot name And then I'm going to update the sign. So as you can remember this the sign we have over here. So I'm going to say garden dot sign dot actual sign dot sign GUI dot sign text label dot text is equal to player dot name dot 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 quotation marks space colon, wait, not colon, what's it called, what is that called, um a single quotation mark s, so s, what is it called, garden, yeah. So okay, there we go. So now if we test the game, if we click play, you guys will see it'll automatically choose one of, okay. I am so glad I tested that. I'm so glad I tested that because before I did the video, I only used one garden, so I didn't know. Okay, clearly it's glitched to where it'll assign me to all of them. So the way we fix that, you can't break out of this because it's, wait, oh, you can? Right, it's a for loop. Right. Okay, so just put the word break after and stuff, which pretty much just means it'll, and once this occurs, it'll once it gets to this point, it'll just end it. So it'll only happen. This ensures it only happens once. Yep, there we go. I own that one, and then I don't own the other one. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, that's part one. If you guys want access to this model or any of the scripts, and any of my future scripts or models or any of my other scripts or models, you guys can become either a channel member or a Discord subscriber. Link to either one of those options can be found in the description and stuff. Highly recommend that and stuff. As I said, if you guys want part two and future parts, all you gotta do is just show the series love and support, and I got y'all with another part and stuff. So just show it love and support, and I'll hit y'all with a part two. And part two will probably cover we'll cover teleports and stuff. We set up the UI, now we're just gonna make it work. So we'll teleport, and we'll have the NPCs, so that we'll have the NPCs sell stuff and sell and buy things from you. So yeah. If you enjoyed the video, definitely leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you all for watching.